Hello and welcome to the Feral Future Podcast. I'm Erik,
Hi, I'm Keri Joy.
coming to you from the fall equinox, the autumn
Yes,
equinox, change of seasons.
yes.
It's been a while since we did our last podcast, so we have some things to cover
hmm
regarding what we did with our summer, what we have coming up in the fall, and also the importance of the equinox, what it signifies in terms of the closing of one chapter and the opening of a new one. Harvest time in a lot of cases coming up, cooler weather. Yeah, it's a lot of people's favorite time of year. How about you?
It's absolutely my favorite time of the year. Well, I have been appreciating the equinoxes and the solstices for a while, and we have been setting our lives up more from equinox to equinox or equinox to solstice instead of the traditional quarters or the months of the year. And I feel like it's a really incredible time to be more intentional and also be aligned with like the energy and with nature itself as well. And plus it's a good opportunity to have like great gatherings with friends and to mark something like significant shifts, like what has happened in your life. Like, so for us, like what's happened in our lives since the summer solstice. um, it's always interesting to kind of mark your to see the how things have progressed, or where you've needed to kind of pivot or detour from one of those months to the next. So I do really appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to this one.
Absolutely. Another thing that I always kind of point out is the change of the seasons, and I think we've talked about it in other podcasts as well. But how as we watch the leaves start to change color, and um, things that might have been hot and dead from the summer, now they're starting to kind of wake back up. Now that things start to cool down, shorter days, longer nights, and we as humans are equally affected by the seasonal changes. And they talk about seasonal cold and flu and things like that. So now is a really good time to start focusing on things like detox
hmm
protocols and helping to cleanse and release the things that are no longer needed from the hot summer conditions, and start to transition into what the body needs for the colder seasons.
Yeah.
Because that's happening whether we realize it or not. We're so disconnected that we forget sometimes that we're as much part of nature as the trees and everything else that's out there. So yeah, if you're not feeling good, or if some things are coming up for you, yeah, something to really think about. Support those detoxes, and maybe if you have an issue with you know uh, whatever the symptoms are, get ahead of it now, and see if your
Yeah,
transition is a lot better.
absolutely. And I just said to you yesterday, like it's like kitchari time. Like I always love to, at this turn of the seasons, to create a giant pot of Ayurvedic kitchari, because it's like this natural detox. It's also not harsh on the system. It
Hmm.
supports like the liver and the tissues and the cells, but in a very like nourishing, nurturing way. A lot of times detox protocols are like stripping to the system,
Hmm.
and they're actually create more chaos. But when you do it with in the Ayurvedic way, you're actually giving it so much love. Like we use a lot of ghee, and ghee is really nourishing. It's soothing to the nervous system. And so and it's just mung beans and rice and great vegetables, and we have tons of
Hmm.
amazing produce. And Erik has been so incredible with like teaching me a lot about spices. As much as I've been interested in it, he takes it to a whole nother level. So it's going to be kitchery time in this house starting
Hmm.
tomorrow. It's farmers market day also,
Right.
so we'll be getting a lot of the most potent what is the word for the produce, just
Yeah,
the
just fresh
the
and local,
freshest
and
the
yeah,
freshest
vibrant. Yeah.
local vibrant produce we can get. So we'll have a nice pot of kitchery. Also, this equinox is a little interesting because it's at the cusp of this eclipse season that we're
Hmm.
in.
Hmm.
And so originally we were planning on having like our like this big feral gathering, because it's been about a year in our house, and about 6 months really in our business. And so we were feeling like it'd be a good time to have we've been doing a lot of building. This has been like a building year for us. And so we thought we'd have friends and family to kind of honor the equinox. But because it's a new moon solar eclipse, like it just felt like actually we're going to have some friends over on Tuesday for like a nice harvest lunch. But this one will probably be a little bit more quiet. but it's still kind of gearing up, and the things we're doing now to kind of honor the eclipse and being together and kind of in this like shedding and release period to bring in, kind of the new season that's happening, I think is actually really powerful, and we can make it very sacred as well.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, and you were talking about kitchari, just like it's an interesting um, idea for, yeah. Keri kind of quickly mentioned it's rice with mung beans, which is, or dal is another term for it. It can
Mm,
also be used lentils, but it's essentially it's a complete protein,
yeah.
but all plant based, and light broth and some light herbs and seasonings, cinnamon, right, and
Well, you can kind of all, I mean, there's ways to go deeper into it based on the doshas. So cinnamon is just really good for blood sugar
mhm,
stabilization as well as like kapha dosha. So it's good for both of us. Eric and I are also both kapha pitta in our Ayurvedic profile. We have so many similarities. It's like wild. Um, but so it's good for both of us. Yeah. So
mhm,
cinnamon and ginger is
right,
really good for it. And then what I got a bunch of like nutmeg, and I got, what's the other spice I got recently?
cardamom,
Cardamom,
yeah,
yeah. And then obviously the turmeric
hmm,
um, and our salt, which is not really Ayurvedic that much, but we use it in everything.
absolutely. Yeah, so that's, you sort of, the idea is you kind of just eat off of that. You make a big pot of it and you just eat
Yeah,
off of it for a few days, and through that process it's giving you all of your vitamins and minerals and nutrients, but also it's a very clean source so that everything that's kind of
absolutely.
no longer serving you can be sort of
Yeah,
captured and stripped away and released.
absolutely,
Yeah.
because our liver is the thing that that speed up the most, because of because of emotions, like unprocessed emotions, because of the air that we breathe, because of the water, not that we drink, but just the water and things, food, chemicals. Our liver takes such a toll on us, and that's one of the reasons we actually get sick, is just because that pathway gets so clogged. And it also, when not worked, not supported, turns, the liver is associated with anger. And so there's a lot of like anger and rage, and it's just a really good time to support yourself. And I prefer kitchari cleanses versus like juice cleanses or
Hmm.
anything that's like depleting or depriving, because like, why should we be deprived? I know there's amazing things with like, and you're interested in things like water fasts and intermediate fasts, but as a woman, it just feels a little bit different. I like to do things a little bit more like soothing and
Hmm.
supportive versus like depleting and taking from me.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah, how
yeah.
about what are some other of your incoming fall rituals that you're the queen of the ritual, the
Well, I know there's so many things happening. Well, we've really been building up our home, which is nice. And so Eric's been doing a beautiful job in our yard, and we have new furniture out there, and we have some gorgeous trees, a lot of fruit trees, like our pomegranate tree is coming in.
mhm,
um, our apple trees are coming in, and so we'll be doing, I'm sure we'll be making like more like pies and jams and things like
mhm,
that with that. Pomegranate is just like the most fertile, most abundant fruit to kind of really support like ojas, which is kind of like life force energy, and also just fertility in every which way, whether you're birthing a project or a human or any, like, it's just really beautiful and I'm so excited
mhm,
to have that tree. And then of course I do the continuation of just the grounding. I try and do that as often as I can and really support getting outside first thing in the morning. We're also very lucky. Like, I think I've definitely manifested our bedroom, because we have like these gorgeous French doors that open ground level. And then when I wake up, I have, three animals that follow me outside. And so it's pretty much like a new ritual intention every morning,
mhm,
And yeah, and so I'm doing a lot of work with that. We're also, we did some cool things where we have some new frequencies in our home, and so that is part of like that will be kind of supporting us in our business and strengthening our home and our business. We'll talk about that more specifically at another date, but and then I'm continuing to do a lot of transformational work through my own vessel as a body,
mhm,
and really be able to kind of heal and transform and alchemize experiences and pains and wounds just by utilizing my body. And that's kind of my number one practice. I have a few mentors right now who are really supporting me, and it's amazing how it's probably the most transformative work I've ever done. And I've done a lot of different
Mm.
work and I've gone outside to really support myself. But the work of not, of going inwards and like actually connecting with sensations that arise in the body and feeling them, and kind of being like a loving witness to things that you've experienced in your life, because anything that really happens is never from present day. It's all this like stuffed emotions that kind of get dormant and repressed in our system. And then life is this like amazing opportunity to kind of heal and alchemize it. So body work inside, like doing my own body work, is kind of a huge intention ritual that I will be continuing to do like every day for the rest of my life. And I'm also doing a ton of writing. That's
Mhm.
been amazing. And I now have a Substack, so hopefully you guys will be following Substack. I'm writing our field guides on Feral Future. I feel like the work that Erik and I do as a couple has also kind of helped me regain a lot of my old life force energy that's been stuck. And I'm doing a ton of creating, and that's been really fun. And especially as we go into this new season and it's less light, it's kind of another opportunity to go more inwards. And I always feel going inwards is the most potent thing we can be doing, because as everyone knows, as the more chaotic and crazy the world is getting, and it's going to keep getting more crazy and chaotic, the most important work we can be doing is actually looking inside.
Right.
And that's the only true medicine that we have, along with the incredible things we do with like the food and our pantry items, and like the healing things that we can do that we actually do have control of. So I'm looking forward to this season, with you, and seeing all the amazing things you and I are going to create with Feral Future, and individually and then together. And yeah, just see kind of how we can take the next couple seasons.
Hmm. Yeah, lots been going on, lots coming up. One of the things that we've both been experimenting with and having really positive results with is it's like a meditation app. It's a has to do with brainwave frequency, and you do it with headphones on or even on a speaker. It's called Newcom, and you found out about through Luke Story's
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, Luke, just so you know, you are like one of my guardian angels. And there's probably three or four things that I have picked up from you that have changed my life drastically. And I do share them with friends and family, and I always give you credit. And yeah, Erik and I are very grateful
Yeah,
because of the knowledge and wisdom you share.
yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. We definitely recommend checking it out. If you have a meditation practice, it can help to kind of improve on it. If you don't have one, or if you find meditation challenging, it's a really good way to sort of get in there and get the benefits from it without some of the challenges and limitations and struggles that it can be when you're first getting going. Because you really just have to lay there and put these headphones in. And I found that um, lots of like old fragments of memories that are just sort of circulating around that probably never really found a home are sort of coming up and being processed. And that sort of experience of having a quiet mind come through quite often with it, and just sort of like, oh, I'm alone in here all of a sudden. There's not all this noise and racket and fears and worries and anxieties and whatever, for good or bad. Just to have that quiet mind experience as a reference point is really powerful. And it also has some cool um, performance based options as well as sleep. So you can put it on at bedtime. You can also put it on if you're at the gym, or if you're going to be doing a presentation. You can help get yourself into a flow state, high energy. It has a lot of benefits for that. So it's been fun to kind of
Yeah.
explore with that and see what comes out of it.
Yeah. And it's a funny thing because I'm very, as a woman, I love to share things with Erik, and but I'm also very like have to do it in a very specific way, because it's like if I put my will on anything, he kind of is like, I'm not interested in that, you know. And I'm always like, you know, looking for or and open to like what else, like, you know, how else can I feel better? What else can I do? And I started hearing this podcast, and I remember Luke has these podcasts, and sometimes, and they're so long, and I never want to listen to that long of a podcast, but it was like connected to my car. And so every time I get in the car, I was like, am I going to keep listening to this? And like all of a sudden, like a few days later, 2.5 hours later, I listened to this entire podcast. And I remember being at the beach and listening to some of the things he was saying and being like, "Oh my god, if I would love Erik to try this." Like some of the things he shares with me and some of the stuff that he's been challenged with, you know, I feel like this could really support him. But how do I say this to him, because I don't want to like tell him what I, you know, it was just like this really really delicate dance, because I so badly, as my partner and person who I love so much, I want to help, but is that really my job to help? Or you know, so it's like this, it's this inner thing that I often kind of don't know how to navigate that well. And it's, I especially think it's because of this collective about polarity and all this stuff that goes on. And so I remember, but also knowing like, you know, like, God, I want not just you. I told my dad about it. I
Hmm.
told my sister, like anybody I care about, I want to, you know, experience these things. And so there's this, we both ended up listening to the podcast, and I let Erik kind of like find his way with it. I mean, there's a little, but I also like tried to chill out, and he finally listened to the entire podcast. And then he had his whole own experience with it. And yeah, now we're kind of, um, using it and experimenting with the different ways. And it is really powerful, and it is, I don't know how they're able to, it's not an app. And it's not binaural beats. It's so much more powerful. It was a device that actually was $6,400 originally, that they somehow are able to now put on like an app format. um, but it really does work with like the fight or flight and your brain to support like you know, kind of this deregul or dysregulation that's in the
Hmm.
system that everyone is experiencing. And the CEO Jim Poole, who's all about his service to humanity, is to eliminate the stress and sleep challenges that everybody experiences, because those, if you get your stress down and you get your sleep down, like how much better would
Right.
everybody in the whole world be? So it's a big mission, but if you try it, you know and you know, you try for
Well, it's
yourself.
very much in alignment with what we're doing. Like he's
Absolutely.
going after the problems of the world his way, and we're going after it our way. And
Yeah,
so as long as everything's sort of in alignment with that overall intention, it's all for good.
absolutely.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
may not be right for you, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's not going to be
And
right
you could
for
do
your
try
friends
for
and
7
neighbors.
days
Yeah,
free, which
yeah,
I, you know, which is great, which I
and
tell
totally not
people.
paid. We're just totally,
Yeah.
yeah, just our own testimonials.
Yeah,
We're totally into it.
absolutely.
So
I know. It is
yeah.
so lovely right now being able to just share the things that we love.
Hmm.
Good people doing good things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else are you doing besides, anything else like coming to mind besides Newcom?
Not so much. Just we've been doing a lot of hitting the gym quite a bit more and really trying to get that kind of physical thing going. I've been dealing with my own back issues and various you know pain points in my body over my entire life, and so really we're working to build myself up to have the strength to sort of move through and push through. And also through the building process, you kind of can't help but overwrite some of the problems in the past. So there's a lot towards building and fixing kind of are tied together. So whenever the foundation, you find a weak point in the foundation, you have to fix that first before you
Right.
can build off of it. And sort of that incremental has really been good. And I know you're getting back into the gym as well, and kind of
Yeah.
just reframing how we think about how we look and feel and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been loving the gym, and my goal, Erik trained me a bit, and but my goal is to be in the gym strength training. That's weight training, right?
Hmm.
4 or 5 times a week. Like that is absolutely
Hmm.
my goal, and I want to do that every day. I mean, my ideal scenario, because we both wake up early, but I love my morning time, like writing in the morning and then getting to the gym. But when it's like cloudy and overcast and I can't have like a good sunrise, I like to get in the gym
Hmm.
as during that time, so I can
Absolutely.
kind of like use that time to like, and then I come home and it's gorgeous skies and
Right.
it's like, okay, now it's time to get outside.
There you go. Yeah, and we're also looking into expanding in the business as well. We're looking into some new product options that we're in development for, and some new courses as well. So we're
Yeah,
looking to do a little bit deeper dive into um, some of the philosophies and tools and equipment and mindset and focus that are help to make our lifestyle possible for ourselves and others as well.
absolutely. Do you want to talk about the new products that we have and like kind of in development?
Well, I mean, I think we have everything here, so it's a good
Okay.
opportunity to kind of recap on like this is the Feral Pantry that we have right in front of us here. So, Feral Tea is one of the original creations that sort of inspired our pantry line, and this is a tea that I came up with during COVID as an alternative for things like just water, soda. I stopped drinking soda many years ago, but water by itself just got boring, and I drank green tea as well, but I was looking for something that didn't have caffeine. And so I came up with a blend of moringa, dandelion, stinging nettle, lemon balm, and ginger. And those combined create a really powerful, I mean, antioxidant, antihistamine, anti-inflammatory components, as well as all your vitamins and minerals. And so it's very nourishing and hydrating. It also kind of acts as like a sports drink almost in terms of giving your electrolytes and performance. It also helps with detox. I actually had a customer who told me that he had been out drinking and was really not feeling well, and he had feral tea, and he said it saved his life. Basically, like he was gonna have a really rough day ahead of him, and after the feral tea, it kind of helped to offset the alcohol effects, and so he that was kind of a one of the best testimonials we've had in terms of like
Yeah.
fixing an immediate problem as opposed to just I like the taste, I like the way it makes me
Right.
feel.
Right.
And then we
Right.
also came up with we call our feral flask. And so this is a brewing system that we developed for feral tea. And the idea is that you use a quarter cup of a feral tea with a whole lemon, and it's a half-gallon mason jar. And inside the lid, there's a screen, so you can do a loose leaf tea, you can do hot brew, cold brew, sun tea, whatever with your loose leaf, and then you can just pour it right out in your glass. You don't have to worry about particles and debris getting in your glass. So that's been a really fun,
Yeah, and
positive
that we
thing. Yeah.
cannot keep in stock. I
Hmm.
have to say that's one of the things I'm so proud of so many of the things that you create because Eric creates pretty much everything that we do. Um, but that's like the thing I'm like, my heart gets so full because well, first of all, I created the tag and the tag is
Hmm.
stunning. And it's like, we use this is also really cool about what we are doing. Everything is like very thoughtful. It's like one of Eric's incredible characteristics is thoughtfulness. And it's something that I appreciate so much. And so our company and brand is very thoughtful, like all the little things that we do. And I don't know if you've ever shared this, but our labels are actually wine labels.
Hmm.
And we did that because we live in wine country. And it's not that we're big wine drinkers, but we appreciate wine culture. We use some beautiful organic biodynamic wine in our food. And because we live in San Ynez, which is this incredible wine country, it was just this little like ode to the valley.
Hmm.
So we have these gorgeous wine paper as our labels. And so that's also part of the Feral Flask, and the tagline is simple, beautiful, useful.
Hmm.
And I see that tag and I'm just like so proud of it. And I am not kidding when I say that I would bet by, let's say, spring equinox. So, like 6 months from now, everybody will have a feral flask in their home in San Ynez, like in our,
Right.
because it's like we cannot keep them in stock here. Like we get them in, Eric puts them together. I wish we could trademark it because it's so brilliant what he did, but it's a mason jar ultimately, so you can't trademark it. But the like top is like 4 or 5 pieces he puts together. Um, and so I would imagine that everybody will have that. That's like my little goal. And then I imagine once that happens, they will just be in homes across America
Hmm.
because they're just so. And how amazing would that be if everybody was drinking some type of loose leaf tea and whether it's feral tea or not, but just
Hmm.
drinking some healthy, organic loose leaf tea and getting vitamins and minerals, that
Yeah,
would be
absolutely.
like really be making a
Well, yeah,
big
just like,
difference.
and I said, just to not drink some of the crap that's out there, the
Yeah.
sodas and the juices that are just full of sugar and who knows what. Um, yeah, just a real natural tea is already coffee, tea, and water are the top three beverages worldwide. So it's not like we're reinventing the wheel here. We're
Yeah.
just making it reawakening America. I mean, America doesn't really drink that much tea, but you go back to like the Boston Tea Party. It's definitely in our history and in our
Yeah.
past, and there's so much American local stuff that can be turned into tea. And we're also developing a new sun tea
Yes.
as well. So that's something
Yes.
that we're also
Yes,
looking into.
this will the sun tea will definitely be like part of like the autumn equinox like launch time. It's not happening for Monday, but it will be happening within the next
Hmm.
month, I would
Hmm.
say. It's going to be a really gorgeous sun tea that Erik and I are creating together.
Yeah, all things that have captured the sun
Yes.
and then give it back to you in their own unique and
Yeah,
special ways.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to also be connected to solar plexus, because that's like the yellow is connected to your third chakra, which is solar plex. So it's going to really help and store like grounded confidence. And so it's going to be a beverage that you can drink all day long, especially as you're kind of working on big creative projects or presentations, to kind of give you that like confidence and fuel, again without the caffeine, but like high energizing, like I think like is like ginkgo in it or something like that had
Well,
I forgot what was in it, but
yeah, we
um
can.
yeah.
We have it.
Yeah, so just give you this kind of like boost but naturally. So yeah, I'm excited for that to kind of be in the final stages of its like development and launch
Hmm.
that.
And you also have your return tea that you created, your
Yes.
women's tea.
Yeah. Yeah, I created a women's tea in I forgot, was it in June? I still haven't done like a whole proper launch. She's so beautiful and special, and it's like the first product that actually has my name on it.
Hmm.
So I actually have a little like quote and a signature from me, and I I launched it or created it in honor of a product I put out called The Return, which is a 29 and a half day course that's connected to the moon cycle. And so I did that kind of a soft launch, and I got feedback from women who took it, and they just said it was like so absolutely extraordinary that they want it to be a coffee table book or a bedside book. So I'm in the process of recreating it as a proper course that it will be, that you'll receive online, but also to put it into a really beautiful book that you can have on your bedstand. Like I know, like growing up, I had like Dr. Pratima Rashar's Absolute Beauty on my bedstand, and every night I would just kind of like open to a page and just see something that resonated with me. And it also kind of helps you like kind of connect to like a different type of frequency, like a high energy frequency. And so the idea with that is that you can, wherever you are in your cycle, wherever the moon is at, you can kind of connect to it and be really connected and aligned with the moon, because the more we are connected and aligned with the energy, the the better off I feel like we all are. So that's the return tea and the return course, which is coming out more. But for right now, the return tea is in specialty stores and also on our website.
Hmm. Yeah, and you had talked about how here in the San Andreas Valley area, the feral tea flask has sort of become almost a new thing you got to have
Yeah.
if you're one of the cool kids. It's you
Well,
got
I
to
just
have it,
said the goal to have it in every
right?
home. Yeah.
And the other item that we have that's really been popular here has been our organic grass-fed marshmallows. So these are also available online, and we are in quite a few shops here locally, and for sale as well as to drop into coffee. And so this has been a routine for us over a year now at this
Yeah.
point, where we have organic grass-fed marshmallows in our coffee every morning. And yeah, there was a somewhat local supplier that was selling them through a shop here that closed, and so they were no longer available to us, which prompted us to make our own just to fulfill our own use. And then once we kind of realized what was going on with them and how to do it, then we realized we could scale it and spread it around. So we've gotten in touch with quite a few local coffee shops and also specialty sellers, and we also sell online. And so that's a great way to add some extra goodness to your morning cup. I also use
Yeah.
it in matcha. It's great in matcha, And then for your birthday, we also came up with some specialty mallows that had some fun um, uh, variations, let's
Yeah.
say. With I did one with dark chocolate chips and then tossed them in a graham cracker crumble. So it was sort of like a each one was its own little self-contained s'more without any fire required.
And they were like brownie size.
Yeah,
So
they
they
were
were
big
like,
ones.
he presented it at my birthday, kind of like a little cake, like a
Hmm.
tier cake. And they were just stunning. And everybody was pretty much freaking out to have such a decadent dessert that's healthy for you
Right.
with like really good ingredients. Like you would
Yeah.
feel proud to give it to your kids, or people you care about, because you're getting it's like
It's almost guilt free. I
it's
mean, there's
guilt-free,
yeah.
and you don't feel like crap afterwards, and yeah, it's amazing. So that's kind of coming in down the line, right, as we're working on product development, but it is something really special, and we're probably gonna do something with Slow Ranch,
Hmm.
one of our retailers up in San Luis, and with their preserves.
Right.
So that will be something kind of like within hopefully this fall as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have their own preserves that they create from the produce that they grow on site. And so there's a lot of cool opportunities for us to
Yeah,
do some things with them with
yeah.
some of their products. So
Yeah, and I do wanna say it tastes like pie. So
yeah.
it's somehow something, however it all works out, the ingredients. But when Erik makes these things, they taste either like a full-on s'more or like a blueberry pie or an apple pie or a
Hmm.
key lime pie. And you just can't, how is this taste like a pie and it's like good for you?
Hmm.
So I'm very excited
Yeah,
about that.
it's a lot of fun coming up with those and being inspired, just walking
Yeah.
around and seeing something and be like, oh, that could work, and then giving it a try and having it be so much better than I had even expected it to
Yeah.
be. So that was a fun one. Yeah, and so some other things that we've come up with, we have released our full spectrum salt. So this is a blend of Himalayan sea salt and kosher salt. Three different grind sizes, three different colors, three different mineral profiles, three different flavors. So yeah, we call it full spectrum because it kind of covers all the bases in terms of your mineral needs. It pinches amazingly. So as a chef, I like to salt my food, and having that texture, really good kind of control and sprinkleability. It's been really a lot of fun to build that out as well as try it and use it and get feedback from people. We also put it in our water in the morning so that we're getting fresh salt. Um, we were talking about the gym earlier. I go to the gym fasted usually, and salt's an important electrolyte for when you're working out. So one of the things that I like to do in the morning is I just start sprinkling some salt on my tongue directly, and I'll let it sit for a second. Then I'll put a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And the idea being that my body will tell me when my salt levels have been back to where they want to be, because they get depleted overnight through dehydration and sweating and whatever. And so if you drink straight water in the morning, it actually kind of will even deplete you further. So I like to just sprinkle a little salt on my tongue before I go to the gym until it kind of feels like it's too much. And then I know that I'm kind of ready to go. I also like to drink some coconut water along with it, because there's a whole potassium, sodium thing that works with muscles. So that gives me sort of the kind of more electrochemical support that I need to work out in the gym and be able to go hard without having to have eaten first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like our salt is actually becoming one of our most popular products. Very timely because salt has become, and especially in like the wellness space and healing space currently, is become so popular. It's like people are amazed that actually salt is good for you because
Hmm.
we've been told to believe how bad it is. And so the fact that how often and how what's the word, like we use it, is it liberally, like what's when you're like use a lot of it,
Yeah.
yeah. And like how we use it in our water. I mean, I drink salt water all day long, and and now we just listened to a whole kind of documentary with Edgar Casey talking about the benefits of salt water
Hmm.
and how it has all these healing attributes. And especially when you infuse it with prayer and intention, it really is just like wild, just, yeah, healing apparatus that you can do that doesn't cost very much money. And you have the power to do it, yourself. You can be drinking it, you can be bathing in it, you cooking with it. And so, yeah, it's just it's one of those things that's very timely that we came out with a full spectrum salt while salt is becoming like one of the, like my mom sent me a thing about, oh my God, did you hear about this dietitian who did salt and da 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 da, like lost all this weight, and now it's this like all these things are going viral. So yeah, it's really cool. People are loving it. It's beautiful and it tastes delicious and it's very good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we have two herb slash spice blends. This is the Feral Herb blend. This is something that I've been using. I would consider it my signature blend. I've been using this for years and years and years. I actually had, um, another supplier that I was buying something from that was a similar blend, and but they didn't have organic, and I was looking for something that was maybe higher quality, and so I started sourcing the individual ingredients myself and then blending it a little bit differently to get to my flavors. And so this has been something that's similar to the tea, it has the feral name. So this feral herb blend and feral tea. So because of sort of like the foundational signature products, we've gone ahead and named them that way. But yeah, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's medicine, and I use it a lot on almost everything, and it never seems to overpower, and it never seems to be too much. And I'm confident that that's such a major like daily input that's like helping to kind of systemically prevent so many negative aspects and support all the processes that need
Yeah.
to happen.
Yeah.
And you've talked about it being like your secret weapon when I'm not here to cook.
Yeah, well, it's just because it tastes so delicious and it's so easy to use. So I use it on everything from just basic salads to vegetables to, wild salmon, beans, whatever I make, I just use that. My friends laugh at me because I think I'm a cook because I have salt and Eric's feral herbs, and it's just amazing. So I'm really proud of those, and it's just so easy to use, and it should be in every
Hmm.
home cook's
Yeah.
kitchen. I do want to say something, Eric, because I didn't even like one of the reasons we were even sharing about the pantry items is obviously we're excited about them and we love sharing them, but it's also like part of our story is like how everything that we create is starts from the hearth, and how much it's like the things that we use and love every day,
Hmm.
and that's how the pantry items like kind of were born, because originally it was our prepared food, but it was all these things that we believe in, we love, and we want to share. And so it's such a natural continuation, and it just kind of the the there's really no stop of the things that we love using. Like it's just kind of going to continue to evolve
Hmm.
that way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we're Feral Foods is a food line, a brand, but Feral Future is a lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
And really, what it is we and anything that we're creating to anything that we're selling is something that we ourselves have used or developed for our own personal use to solve problems that we have or elevate the things in our life on our daily basis. So everything that we're sharing, it's not just about a profit or to sell it. It's like this is what we love and this is what we use, and we want everybody in the world to have access to it. Um, because we feel so strongly
Yeah.
about what it is, and like you said, the intention, even the packaging, with like the bamboo lids and everything is glass. We don't use any plastic, so it's glass, wood, or stainless steel is sort of the three materials that we like to use
Yeah.
throughout. Paper, yeah. So everything is um, sustainable, recyclable, upcyclable, reusable as much as possible. And we hope that, like kind of like a mason jar, it's sort of you don't want to throw out a mason jar. There's a um, just an inherent quality to it
Yeah.
that you just don't want to throw it out. You just can't bear to throw it out the way you would a normal glass jar or a bottle. So we kind of want all of our stuff to sort of have that desire to hold on to. So um, yeah, and then the final item is our fennel and flame. So we here in Central California and Southern California as well, you drive down the road and there's just fennel growing everywhere. So it's a flavor that I really love. It's really great for digestion, and I love the idea that it can just grow wild pretty much anywhere. And you can just pull on the side of the road and just grab some fresh fennel, and it has that kind of licorice flavor. And you can eat the bulb, you can eat the seed. The fronds are like herbs. It's super versatile, and yeah, it doesn't need any cultivation or help to kind of get there. So I love that energy and that kind of story. So I use it as a rub. I use it on things like steak, and it was initially developed as like a poultry seasoning. And then through the process of working on it, I found it was just more versatile overall. So It's got some roasted red peppers, and it's based off the Feral herb blend with, which is like oregano and thyme and basil, marjoram, and rosemary. Um, but yeah, with fresh ground fennel, roasted red pepper, some smoked paprika, some garlic as well. So it almost has like a Italian sausage or pepperoni kind of quality to it. I find that it works really well. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, so the thing I kind of also wanted to point out too is the idea of the colors that we're using. So my idea with the colors is everything is sort of um, it's relevant to what's inside the jar, and it also becomes a marker. So that the idea is that in your pantry, you just know what to grab for based on color. You don't even need to look at labels because I've been in this situation myself where I have 20 different jars. They all look exactly the same, and the colors inside of them are some shade of like brown or green or yellow. And if you have two or three things next to each other, you don't know what's what, and you have to look at them. And so my idea is that I want to color code everything. So I open the pantry and it's like, boom, there's green, boom, there's red. I know exactly what I want. I know exactly the color. And the idea being that it makes the cooking process a little bit more easy, a little bit more fun. It has a flow to it, and also the need less of a need to have individual specific size spices, and more of like um, a team approach where it's like I'm cooking in this way, I'm going to go with these kind of flavors, and you already have something that's interchangeable. Nothing is too specific to
Yeah.
any one thing, and then they're all super versatile. So
Yeah,
that's really
absolutely.
the idea.
Yeah,
And
I love that. And yeah, you're all about simplicity and like effortlessness.
well, yeah, simplicity, but elevated simplicity.
Yeah,
It's not simple.
right.
It's well considered and thought
Right,
out. So
absolutely.
yeah, it's like the idea of a traveling, let's say a traveling doctor. They have their little black bag. Like they everything in there is super utility, can do multiple things, and the doctor knows exactly what's in the bag, where it's at. So if they're looking at somebody, they know that I need this, and this. They open their bag and it's right there, and they take it out. That's the kind of mindset that I want to have. It's better than having the whole everything in the kitchen sink, and it takes
Right,
a bunch of time to dig through it all
right,
and figure out what it is, and then you get there and you realize it's 9 years old or
right.
something, and doesn't even have any flavor anymore. And so then you go buy it again and use it once, and 9 years later you find that bottle. So
Yeah,
I'm just trying to avoid that whole situation and just have things that I really enjoy using that are like almost like a team. Like I said, you've got
yeah,
your your salt team, your spice team, your herb team, and within two or three things, you've got everything you need, and you can pick and choose and mix and match and come up with a bunch of great options. So yeah, that's the idea behind the Feral Pantry. It's again, feral is the domesticated returning to the wild. It's not so much about being savage and crazy. It's just about rethinking things in a way that makes a lot of sense, has a lot of function, and really serves you in the best possible way. So instead of having it's quality over quantity, um, yeah, it's like a backpacker or it's like a hunter. It's like you want to have really really good stuff, but not too much because otherwise it weighs you down and
yeah,
slows you down and actually doesn't benefit you. And that one thing that you use once every 2 years, like you don't need that with you all the time. That can go in the back corner and everything that's up front and center, the things that you use all the time that really support you and get you to your goals more quickly and easily.
I love that.
Yeah.
Elevated simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
I will use that in our materials. Also, I want to say that if you sign up for our newsletter on feralfuture.com, we created an incredible pantry guide that's complimentary. And so you will receive that. It's really cool. It's pretty robust. It has a bunch of pantry items on there that we recommend, not just our products, they're just universal products that we recommend, as well as some rituals. And so, yeah, so feralfuture.com to sign up for our newsletter. You'll receive that complimentary. And what about just sharing a little bit about this incredible course that is being created right now?
Yeah. So right now, kind of building off of the idea I was talking about with the pantry is sort of the idea of the chef's mindset in the kitchen and turning the kitchen into sort of like a creative studio. So instead of thinking of the kitchen as a chore place or a place of stress and maybe even fear or annoyance or obligation, think of it more like an art studio. I come from the world of auto racing, and so before that, I've done things like wood shop, computers. Like I've always been into some sort of craft or hobby, and there's all the tools and equipment, and you need to have a space to work on that thing. And I don't see the kitchen as being any different than, you know, uh, a race shop or a wood shop or an artist studio. And to really bring forth the idea of finding that flow and creativity and inspiration in your kitchen, so that what you're creating inspires you, and you look forward to being in there and trying it, as opposed to kind of suffering and just getting through it and just get something out there so that they can, you can feed yourself or your family. I really want it to be something where, if you can find a flow in the kitchen where you're inspired, and ideas are coming through, and it's almost like you're, um, it's like an expression of yourself coming through the food. It's like you feel it in your body and then you taste it in the food. And that's kind of like the idea of like love is a secret ingredient. It's the same kind of concept. And helping people to find that flow and rhythm in the kitchen, so that they can build some confidence and start trying new things with the foundational information, so that they understand how things work, as opposed to like worrying about a recipe book and like making sure you have every right thing, and then stressing because you don't know how much time it should cook for, or you follow the recipe and it doesn't come out quite right. It's really about building a series of ideas of understanding how things work and why. And then once you have that knowledge, then you can look at a recipe, and instead of like worrying about following it step by step, it's sort of more of just like a suggestion. It's some guideposts to kind of move you along. But yeah, I know that I've cooked with people in the past, even you, where there's this recipe and I'm like, I'm gonna switch that, and you're like, oh, but that's not what the recipe. It's like, it'll be okay. And I want people to have that trust in themselves to, if you have a feeling like, oh, this might need more salt, or I want to add a little bit of spice, so I'm gonna try that. That's what makes the food yours, and that's the things that you need to get um, more comfortable with. And so part of the idea is that, one, we need to reset the space, because so many kitchens are just full of crap, whether it's old, broken, unused, mismatched things. There's probably like a utensils drawer that's either like packed to the brim with a bunch of stuff, or it's just a mismatched bunch of nonsense that doesn't really serve anything. And so the idea is providing some guidelines into how to set up the kitchen in a way to think of it like a chef. Think about the processes that you're going to be doing and having everything right there along the way. So when you open a drawer, it's not like digging through stuff to figure out what you want. It's nicely laid out with just the things that you need. So you open it up and, oh, I need that, I need that, I need that, boom, and you're ready to go. And that stress and effort of like trying to figure out what you need, and, oh, I think I have that, or do I need to go buy that, or I can't make this recipe because I don't have this thing. Getting you set up with all of the foundational things that you need, in a simple and an efficient way, an elegant, elevated way. These are all, I'm going to be teaching the course using all of the utensils and equipment that I use, with the intent of that it's all also going to be available. I'm going to make the links available so that you could buy exactly what I'm using, and follow my process, as well as some simple foundational recipes that can become the building blocks of your entire, um, you know, the cuisine of you, because everybody has their own flavors and tastes. And once you have a few things mastered, then it's a lot easier to start mastering other things as well, and start taking on the initiative and the inspiration of like, oh, I really like Indian food, or when I go to this one Mexican restaurant, they have this dish. I want to make that at home. And instead of thinking like, oh, I'll never be able to figure that out, like, oh, I'm tasting this, I'm noticing this, I could make that if I had this, and that, and kind of recreating that whole idea. So, one, making the kitchen a place of flow and rhythm and comfort, and also the idea that, if you have a family, if you have kids, especially, and you are eating out a lot, or ordering food in, or doing some sort of fast food, or just frozen or boxed things. If the family and the friends see you in there flowing, they're going to naturally going to want to come in and see what you're doing. And if the food tastes better, they're going to get an interest in that. And so we really want to also inspire future generations as well to have that information, that knowledge, because the food supply is not getting any better anytime soon. And that's such an important part. I mean, Feral Foods is all about you are what you eat, not just from proteins, fats, and carbs, but also like vitality and characteristics. And yeah, like we talk about, dandelion as this tenacious weed that you can't get rid of, but that's that's the kind of energy that we need to be embodying ourselves. That, they can spray us with chemicals and it doesn't even bother us, and they can get rid of us, but we're going to come back tenfold because we have the resiliency and the vibrancy and the vitality to sort of to take on the world and not need to be propped up and cultivated like fennel, where we can just grow wherever. And we need more of that in humanity. We need to become more robust and resilient, and the food supply is going to be less and less
Yeah.
supportive of that. So
Yeah.
that's what the Feral Pantry is about. That's what the kitchen as a studio course is going to be about. And we're also going to be putting up some shorter tips and tricks and walkthroughs on how to do certain things. Like I cook a mean steak, and so I want to share the idea of how we do that. And like I have a really basic rice that I make. Rice quinoa. It applies to a bunch of different grains. Super simple, super delicious. It's probably the best you've ever had. I've heard it so many times that people are blown away by this food that I make, and it's like it's not even hard.
Yeah.
It's really just about highlighting the product, using good ingredients, and simple techniques that really bring everything together. So yeah, that's what the course is
Amazing.
going to be all about.
And I mean, as you're talking, I'm like, how timely is this? Like, it's just so perfect. Like, again, we shared earlier, like the food supply is not getting better. The state of the world is not going to get less chaotic. Like, to have the autonomy and to like take these things into your own hands and be creative and have fun and to produce the best thing you possibly can for yourself and your family. Like, that's power. We don't have to go out to these restaurants. I mean, not that we don't love restaurants, of course we do. But there's a lot of times they're cooking with like terrible um,
Yeah, seed oils.
all the seed
Yeah,
oils and the crap, and also the pans and all the stuff with the leaching the chemicals
lots of
and the
plastics. Yeah.
plastics, and there's like no love, and all their crap and energy is infused in it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, the things that Erik makes, there's so much love, and it's a lot of elevated simplicity, but he's very good at optimizing. And even our kitchen is like, it's not a fancy kitchen. We this whole process that we're in is this like building phase that we're in, and but he optimized our kitchen when we moved in to make it the best kitchen it possibly can, so everything is very functionable and has a place and has a story and a meaning. And yeah, so I just feel like it's just so timely. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's going to be such a gift for people, to really take the power back into their own hands and be really creative in the kitchen, which
Yeah.
is really what you want to
Yeah,
share.
and then that toolkit idea, like I'm in a commercial kitchen to prepare our prepared foods, and I bring everything with me. I can bring it in
Yeah.
a crate. I have everything that I need to produce dozens of mason jars of food in a couple hours,
Yeah.
and that just goes to show that you don't need to have you know cabinets and drawers full of stuff to cook. You really don't. And some
Yeah.
basic techniques, some basic equipment. It's been around forever,
Yeah.
and you probably already have all of it in your kitchen. It's just what state is it in, and is it time to start over, or is it time to kind of fall back in love with what you have? But that's the idea to bring that forward and
Amazing.
re-inspire.
I
So
love it.
yeah, and I guess in closing, the one other thing is we're going to start doing giveaways through our newsletter. So if you do sign up for our newsletter, we are going to be giving away a complete Feral Pantry lineup, which is everything that you see here on the table. So I believe it's like $160 value at retail. So definitely sign up for our newsletter for more information.
And you'll get first, they'll get the guide, they'll get the pantry guide. And then also you'll have the opportunity to be in our raffle and we're going to do it for the equinox in honor of this incredible harvest that's coming.
Yeah.
We are having a gathering at our home on the full moon, which is the harvest moon. I just want to say, so that's kind of like a an ode to the equinox, but it's just not on the
Mm-hmm.
equinox. It's to give it a little space between these eclipses.
Right. Yeah. So feralfuture.com is where everything is
Yes.
at. We are on Instagram at Your Feral Future and YouTube. Well, if
Yes.
you're seeing this, then you know
Yes,
we're on
thank you
YouTube.
so much for being with us, and please subscribe to our channel. It's just Feral Future,
Feral
right?
Future.
Yeah, so when you subscribe to our channel, it really supports us. We're going to be coming out with a lot more podcasts. I love doing them. Erik and I love doing these. We took a little bit of a pause. There was a lot of stuff that we were kind of in this like creating over the summer, but our goal is to put these out at least every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll kind of hear our journey and what's happening between us as we are partners in love and in business and co-creating our destiny together with our animals by our side, and our incredible community that supports us beautifully, and all of our incredible retailers and all of you and our email subscribers. It's just been quite humbling and really exciting, and it feels like we're only getting started.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that, thanks for joining us. Hope to see you
Thank you
next
so
time.
much. And the future is
Yes.
absolutely
Future is feral.
very feral.
Yes.